defendant murdered Dylan Redwine. With motive, a damaged relationship exposed, and compromising photographs. Photographs in the hands of a 13-year-old who was disgusted by it, that triggered a violent rage with the defendant.
What a motive. What a case, what a trial. It's happening out in Colorado. Mark Redwine is the defendant. He's accused of murdering his 13-year-old son. This dates back to like 2012, okay, is when he disappeared. You're talking about a 13-year-old who allegedly discovers some compromising photographs of his father, some bizarre, fetish, disgusting type photos. And prosecutors are saying this is what triggered this reaction from the father, the fact that the son finds these things, and that becomes the motive for the murder. Let's bring back in our special guest, the state attorney for Palm Beach County, Florida, Dave Arenberg, still with us. A bizarre case. Not only he goes missing, Dylan goes missing, the family, the mother and father are split, right? He's splitting time between spending time with mom and dad, but the family goes on Dr. Phil 2 episodes while Dylan is still missing. Then his body's found 5 years later. The father is finally arrested, more than 4 years later. A huge investigation here, and that arrest was in 2017, and now finally the trial's happening. But let's focus on this motive, Dave. Is this sound like something that a jury's going to look at and say, yeah, I get it. This could drive someone who would be inclined to be a part of these bizarre photos. His son finds it. Yeah, maybe that's a reason.
Absolutely, Vinny. He's apparently, the defendant, a truck driver, and he, in the minds of the prosecutors, lashed out at his 13-year-old son who brought it up to him. And the son told others. And so it's not a secret motive. It's something that is going to be known by others, too, that it clearly bothered the 13-year-old. And I know the defense is going to say, well, he knew about it before, and he managed to survive his last visit with his father, even after he knew about it and communicated with his father. But that doesn't provide a real defense, because the subject surely came up again, and it really must have triggered something in this defendant. Plus, there's all this other circumstantial evidence. Like, for example, on the night that his son Dylan went missing, the defendant turned the lights off at 11 p.m. His son is out there allegedly missing in the woods, according to the defendant, and he decides to go to sleep at 11 p.m., turning off all the house lights, and just goes to bed like any good father would. It doesn't make any sense. And then, of course, you have the blood evidence inside the house, the cadaver dogs that smell the scent of Dylan on the defendant's clothing and in his car. So there's enough to convict him here of second-degree murder. One of the witnesses who testified is a friend of Dylan's, and again, they're childhood friends. This is going back 9 years ago. They're youngsters, but this is a friend who lives near his mother, who apparently was speaking with Dylan before he went to go visit his dad. Let's take a listen.
These photos were taken when in relation to his leaving for his trip. You mentioned he was going to be leaving.
I think it was that day or the day before, but like I said, I can't answer that accurately, but one of those days.
Where was he going to?
I think he was going to his dad's.
You have the impression that he wanted to or did not want to go visit his father?
He absolutely did not want to go with his father.
And that's based on conversations that you had with Dylan?
Absolutely.
That's pretty powerful. A son who does not want to spend time with his father, does not want to visit him. To me, this helps prosecutors a lot. It definitely does, Vinny. Also, there's something else I picked up. And when the father was doing his media rounds, trying to defend himself when he was a suspect in this, he actually said to a news crew, and here's the quote, "I would never do anything to harm that boy." I went through some training with my investigators to see the kinds of words that should trigger red flags in investigators who investigate missing children. And one of them is when a father or mother refers to their children as that girl, that boy, instead of my son, my daughter.
So when asked on TV, did you harm him? I would never do anything to that boy. That doesn't sound like a guy with a big heart who is really worried about the whereabouts of his son. It sounds like someone with something to hide.
I agree with you. I agree 1,000% with you. That is an awkward choice of words in that moment. Here's another friend of Dylan Redwine's who testified. Now, this friend lives near Dylan's father, or lived near Dylan's father. Let's take a listen.
He wanted to hang out when he was coming to Bayfield, so we made plans to meet up, and actually he was going to spend the night. I asked if he could spend the night at my mother's house, which at the time was across Bayfield. My mother said no, so I went to my grandmother and said, hey, can I stay at your house and can Dylan stay with me? And she said yes. So we had made plans through text to hang out, him to come stay the night.
And where were you coming from? I know you said your brother's football game, but where was that?
Also in the, it was in the Colorado Springs area.
Did Dylan spend the night at your grandmother's with you?
No.
What was the reason for that?
He didn't show up. Never showed up.
Did he tell you that he couldn't come?
He did.
Doesn't show up, and apparently Mark Redwine showed up at his friend's house. His name is Ryan, at Ryan's house, asking if he had seen Dylan, which is an interesting. I'm sure the defense will try to exploit that, saying he's looking for his son. But I think prosecutors will argue, yeah, he's trying to create a little cover story here.
Yeah, he probably had his son's phone. His son was texting his friend. And it is interesting to see these friends at 21 years old. It shows you that it's been like 9 years since Dylan went missing. These kids were 12 and 13 years old at the time. So here they are, adults, testifying. It shows you how justice moves slowly. Also, when Dylan's body was found, it was found without any backpack, without his phone or wallet. I mean, a guy who just goes off, a young boy, he goes off missing like that, takes things with him, who runs away. They just don't just walk out without their most important documents or money or phone. And it just yet more evidence that it wasn't just a case of a missing child who ran away. It was a case of a missing child who had something really terrible happen to him by his father.
Absolutely. The circumstantial evidence is there. We'll continue to cover this trial for you here each night on Closing Arguments. Dave Arenberg, appreciate your time. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me, Vinny.